No, not only are they getting housing, I kind of feel like they're talking a little bit of shit.
You kind of feel that way? What tipped you off to that?
The fact that they're like, yeah, there's no lottery, no exorbitant requirements that purchase costs, no onerous upkeep. If your subscription lapses, don't worry, your house won't get repoed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just they I feel like they just looked at 14 and just held up double middle fingers.
I mean,
Just
yeah,
like
they are taking on. So Final Fantasy 14 obviously lifted a lot of stuff from World of Warcraft to save something of what they had, and
yes.
made a fantastic MMO. While World of Warcraft hit a low with Shadowlands, and so there were people trying out 14. And now 14 is going through a weird moment, and some people are trying out World of Warcraft now that they're at a high at this moment. But this seems like the first I've seen of like World of Warcraft being like, you casual, like comfy people, we got some stuff for you.
I feel like World of Warcraft has always had a stealth casual audience.
Yes, Moonguard can attest.
Yeah, like and this might be, because I am for the past 2 years have been on Moonguard. I might just be being exposed to it a lot more.
Sure.
But it feels like World of Warcraft ever since Dragonflight has done their best to try and appease casuals as well as the turbo sweaties.
Right.
Like they've added a lot more story content and casual questing content. They've added like this dragon riding thing that's like, here, go race out in the open world. They added like a hot spring and a tea club that people could RP at with the Dragon Isles. They've done this progression path that's entirely single player called Delves, basically dungeons for solo players. And yeah, like I feel like they're really targeting that casual player recently. Because like they've cornered the hardcore market, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Like they have Raid, they have Mythic Plus. Like if you want the hardcore experience in MMO, go play World of Warcraft. So now they're going after the casuals, and for casuals and hardcore, housing has been requested forever.
Yeah.
Since vanilla, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Wow.
And we kind of got a taste of garrisons, but that was like way too much progression. Like they gave you too much power because you could mine in your garrison. You use an auction house. You had no reason to go out in the world.
Wow. Okay.
The parts of this that are really interesting are not only can you have public zones for neighborhoods that are 50 plots apiece, but you also have private ones.
Yeah.
So you and your friend can just make a whole neighborhood.
That sounds awesome.
You can just make a whole neighborhood. Now, they did say that they are for the whole warband, so for all your characters, we'll be able to go there and use it. But the zones are faction specific. So if you're like an alliance character, you can't buy like some shit in a horde desert.
Right.
And on the opposite side, if you're a horde character, you can't buy something in an alliance forest.
So if anything, if you're interested in going to the other side, then you start a character that's of that faction and get to whatever level I'm sure the requirement is, and then you go.
You go like, yep, I have a house here now.
So yeah, if anything, it incentivizes people trying out the other side.
Yes. It's main. So the neighborhoods are maintained by game service and are created as needed. There's no clear limit yet on neighborhoods. And then they also said that they intend for most of the stuff for the houses to be earned in game. There are still going to be some store items.
Not surprised.
But no, not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I will say WoW store is far less gross or crazy than the 14 one.
Sure.
They don't charge you $7 for an emote, for example.
Yet.
So yeah, and then You can invite anyone your friend over, so cross housing. So if you want to invite your friends over, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I
and
think
you can
this is great.
progress and customize them together. And I think this is awesome. And I think that I think WoW is genuinely trying to get more of the 14 player base to come over.
Yeah.
I think that they've done a pretty good job of it. We actually do have a fair amount of like 3 or 4 14 players in my guild.
Sure.
Not including Anthony, who kind of just plays WoW to hang out with me.
Right.
He says he prefers it as a game, but even then he's not into MMOs, which I get.
Yeah.
Um,
This was I was sitting here thinking about like one of the main things I enjoy. I've realized there's at least two, and I need to think on it more and find more examples. But there's like two pillars of things that I really enjoy in a video game, and one is fun in traversal, like just having fun moving around, doing stuff, and just like doing fun stuff while basically doing nothing, like you're not on a mission or something like that. Skate does this, Burnout Paradise does this, Spider-Man does this, but another thing is just like I want a place where people like are just having fun hanging out, and this is something that as bad as it was, PlayStation Home did it for me. It's why I would love to get more into VR chat, despite all the mess that is. I do like those kinds of virtual spaces, and I think that's what draws me to MMOs. Is here are these public spaces where just dozens of people are coming to hang out. But it's for me with World of Warcraft specifically, but also just MMOs in general. I find the gameplay is never very engaging for me compared to other video games.
That is understandable. What I would describe World of Warcraft's gameplay as is like it is the best for an MMO.
Sure.
That is the best way I would describe it. Like it is the top of the mountain. I think the only exception is I think raiding is better in Destiny. I think Destiny raiding is like peak raiding.
If we're counting gameplay from like Destiny for MMO gameplay, then I guess I would put Destiny at the top because it plays like a shooter, not an MMO. But
that's fair. I think Destiny's systems are gross and annoying in comparison to WoW's.
Oh God! Oh my God! Yes, 100%. But just playing the game, it's like Destiny and Warframe, to a lesser degree, just because they're like, it's not this like cooldown system on managing 20 buttons and watching to see where you know what I mean. The traditional MMO
I get
system.
what you're saying. I think that I think that definitely if you come back to WoW, move your character to Moonguard.
Yes,
because Moonguard has a lot of that. Like I guarantee you, I could go log into Moonguard right this fucking moment, and if I fly to the inn in Goldshire, there's going to be a squad of people readying to RP up. Like no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, but how much of the World of Warcraft do you know to RP?
Not much.
Okay.
And there's like whole add-ons for it. So
you're right. Yes.
Add-ons. In WoW, add-ons are totally fine, and like you'll load up add-on, and like they have this profile one to tell you what people are looking for. So like there are people out there doing normal RP, there's sexy RP. I wish Avian still played the game because they'd probably be very good to introduce you to that stuff. Because I'm an observer. I'm like there to hang out and duel people in the town square.
Well,
like,
so that's the thing.
Like,
I like hanging out, and then here's just our virtual avatars. It's like what we were doing when we were playing Space Marine 2, and we were all in our armor, standing in that room talking. I was like, yeah, this is the good stuff.
Yeah, and I actually think you'd really enjoy like normal mode raid with our guild because no one gives a fuck.
Right.
Like show up to normal mode, and then the second that the what's it called that we hit heroic, you'd be like, all right, I'm out.
Right.
There you go.
And I will say, like, despite not knowing whether I'm doing any good at the character, I don't feel like any feedback from actually fighting the monsters or anything. I will say Demon Hunter has been fun in some respects, despite those shortcomings isn't the right word, but yeah.
this is just a me thing personally, but like I will say that if there's one thing that World of Warcraft, like Blizzard in general, but World of Warcraft and Diablo in particular, they make the number like when you get a crit or something happens on screen,
Yeah.
they make the number look and feel good, and it makes the chemical in my brain happen.
This won't fix it, but I would love if like, do they have controller support?
They have a mod for controller
They have a
support.
mod for controller support. Okay. It'd be cool if they would use the strength of the vibration depends on how hard you hit. That would be fun.
I'm sure that if you message the console port, that's the name of the add-on, console port people, like, hey, do we want this? They'd probably be like, oh yeah, we might be able to make that happen. Yeah, so Moonguard is an East Coast server, and there's like still just like a crowd of people set up old chat right now.
Yeah.
Like, I decided to pull it up. Holy shit. Yeah, this inn is fucking packed. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I don't want to sexy RP as a demon hunter. That just seems, I don't know.
Oh, you can sexy RP as whatever you want.
No, you're right. No. This is my weirdness. These are my issues that we don't have to get into onto this podcast. But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about this, and it's like I do want to go back in, but I also like kind of want to level a new character, and that means playing, through Dragonflight all over again, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just like, all right, as someone who's not getting, it is. I just like am not getting into the gameplay as much, which is frustrating. But
I can understand that. I mean, I'm sure I could hit up Anthony because I'm currently leveling a character who's like only level 30. Like I have a healer I'm leveling that's like level 30. So
what's funny is I'm leveling a healer myself.
Oh well, fuck it. I can just play Shadow then. I guess. Right. That's fine. What healer are you leveling?
Oh, that's a very good question. Probably the what's the healing monk?
Oh, a monk. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's fine.
Miss Weaver or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I would love for SGK to get into WoW and make an SGK village.
Listener at home or watcher at home, let me tell you, you should join our Discord, first of all. But second of all, Bronson has been on a tear. Like anytime an opportunity comes, like a news story like this comes around, it's like, all right, who's the 14 player I can snag today? Come on, come to the other side. And I'm sitting here like, this housing's really cool. When's this coming out? It's like maybe 2026. I'm like,
it's like midnight. Yeah, it's like midnight. But we're getting cars and apartments next patch.
That's funny.
Which is in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Like we're getting like those cars that you can customize, and it's like an arcade racing game, but in World of Warcraft.
That sounds really cool. But then and then of course we decided to do this channel where we are going to be covering video games 5 days a week on top of trying to do reviews and keeping up with the industry. Man, keeping up with an MMO during all that is difficult.
I already know that like I kind of have to have had to develop a way where like, okay, Sunday I'm entirely free.
Yep.
So Sunday is the day where I'm gonna have to just play WoW most of the day. That's it. That's the answer.
Because you're also playing Marvel Rivals. You're checking out the Monster Hunter beta. There are other games.
I'm reviewing Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Now, I will say Marvel Rivals, I already hit my goal for the season. So I'm kind of done.
Oh, okay.
I hit gold. So I hit gold. I got the skin. I can take a break. That's actually one thing I really appreciate about WoW is they don't piecemeal content besides story anymore.
Okay.
So they're just like, if you can hit 2K and AOTC first week of the season, all right, bro, you're done. You did it. Good job.
Okay. All right. That's nice.
I absolutely love that there are people at my guild. It's like, yeah, we got KSM first week of the season. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, boys.
All right. Well, then I don't know. We'll have a talk about this after the show.
Anytime some of the Discord like discusses displeasure with 14, I'm just like, coward hiding in the shadows.
Yeah. We could get into problems with Final Fantasy 14, but as someone who's just casual and I don't care much about like the harder end gameplay, which is where a lot of the drama is. I'm just like, can you let me mod shit? Can you not be weird about this, please? Like that would make
Wow,
this
let you mod shit.
I know. Like I'm someone who did not mind going back to the freaking original news story this all came out of. Like I did not mind that they like there was a limited amount of housing. It was like in a weird way I felt like that kind of made it like, all right, let's work toward it. And I went and checked housing like a few weeks ago, and there were a couple plots that were free and open. I just needed the money, which of course I didn't have. But you know, but on the other end, like having just it's free. You're like you it will not be hard to get a house, and you can have private and public. Like that's awesome. That's great. I'm down with that too.
That's killer.
Yeah, so
that's killer.
I think that's fantastic. I think the casual community will really enjoy it, especially if Final Fantasy 14 does not have anything really going on by the time this comes out. So we'll see.
Midnight coming next year. We're if the current WoW timeline, because they ever since Dragonflight they have been on a consistent 6 months major content patch, like money,
right?
Every 6 months.
Okay,
and then with mini patches in between. So that means we're going to be looking at one in August, and then the next expansion would be out probably in April or May of 2026.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yep.
Well, all right, we got a couple more news stories. Let's knock these out here. This one will probably take us.
We ran long day, but it's Friday.
It's Friday. Yeah, exactly. That's why we're talking about football and shit. If you're wondering why we're just kind of going off, it's Friday, man. This is our day. We get to have a day.
Oh, this is. We get to have a day, and you get to wonder why are they talking about football in World of Warcraft.
Look, if you listen to this show, you know exactly why we're talking about football in World of Warcraft. All right. So hey, ex BioWare lead